I'd like to show you something. Have a look here. This is the canal. What do you notice about this canal? It's very quiet, right? And this is the case for much of the network. Serene, beautiful countryside. This is Ripon Canal, one of the smallest canals, 2.2 miles. So I've lived on canal boats for many years. We just got a new narrowboat. It's beautiful. It's a fantastic way of life. But one thing that I often think deeply about is how much of a waste all this is. At the moment, we have a huge demand for housing, and many people denounce narrowboats simply because they think, oh, it's far too narrow, I couldn't do that. Or they'll say it's too cold in the winter, or I couldn't cope with the toilet situation. I've come back to make this video after editing the video because it seems like here I'm saying that it's cold on the narrowboat as well. It is not cold at all. It is a common myth, a common misconception. It is too warm, if anything, in the winter because you've got your log burner on and it can easily get up to 30 degrees once it gets going. So the cold, nah, never. But if you actually look past that, what you get is very cozy, very beautiful, very connected to nature lifestyle. And that's a big reason why we love it so much, because you have to think about things like water, you have to think about things like power when you're not in a marina, which we are at the moment. You have to think about things like, you know, the maintenance on the boat and that kind of thing, and you end up spending a lot more time outside. You end up being very physical, and there's huge stretches of the network. There's thousands of miles of canal in the UK, and it costs a lot to keep them running. They're almost like a living museum, 260 years old, and the history is immense. The engineering is immense. I love everything about the canals, but one thing I'm very passionate about, I think we're missing out, here's another bit, we're missing out on is the solution that they could provide to the housing crisis. At the moment, there's a big push to build, which of course is important as one solution, but here's another solution. This could all be made into moorings. People could be living on here on narrowboats, and many people would say, oh, it would overcrowd the canals. But most of those people that say that are 70 plus and have the luxury of being able to use their narrowboat as a leisure craft. Nothing wrong with that. I'm sure they've worked very hard for that. But what I'm saying is we're missing a trick. The Canal and River Trust are constantly fundraising and doing the best to keep this running. It takes a lot of upkeep. But what about if there was more investment put into the canals? What about if more people chose to live